sure that every segment wraps up quickly, so that was an added pressure on our part. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we move forward to our final panel discussion, Reskilling and Upskilling for Teachers, a strategic response to changing skill demands in education. I request the moderator, Dr. 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲, Director, 𝗙𝗶𝗸𝗲 Reddy Foundation School, Hyderabad, to please step forward onto the stage. And yes, I request our esteemed panelists, Dr. 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲, educationist, academician and consultant psychologist, SPKM School, 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲, to please step forward. And I request Dr. 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 Reddy, Director Principal, 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 International School, Hyderabad, to please step forward and join us here on stage. Yes, thank you, ma'am. I also request Anjali Razdan, Director, Academics, 𝗟𝗏𝗲 International School, 𝗟𝗏𝗻𝗻𝗄, to please step forward. 𝗟𝗏𝗲, Principal and Academic Director, Dominic's Group of Educational Institutions, Hyderabad. I request you, ma'am, to please step forward. Yes, please take your seats on stage. 𝗟𝗏𝗲 Veena Murthy, Principal, Delhi School of Excellence, Banjara Hills. Ma'am, if you're here, I request you to please step forward and take your seat on stage. I request Sonia Nagpal, Principal, Geetanjali Vedika School, Hyderabad. Ma'am, if you could please take your seat on stage. And like I mentioned, ma'am, it was our honorable chief guest who could not even make it to the event, and that is how our program got delayed for 2 hours, by 2 hours, and we are still in the process of adjusting to the new schedule. And only because our speaker had to rush to Kerala to take his flight, we had to push his segment up. And okay, do we have Madhu Mathur, Principal, Nirmala High School, Hyderabad, still in the audience? If so, please, you can join us here on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please clap for Madhu Mathur, Principal, Nirmala High School, Hyderabad. Kalhan Vishnu Ghosh, Principal, Kidzonia Credence International School, Aminpur, Hyderabad. Yes, thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Please be seated. Dr. 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲, State KGBV Coordinator, 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 𝗟𝗏𝗃, ma'am. Please join us here on stage and be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, the topic here is all about reskilling, upskilling for teachers, a strategic response to changing skill demands in education. The discussion points will be path to future-proof career, upskill or fade away, role of the new education policy, importance of the 4 C's, that is critical thinking, communication, collaboration and creativity. So now I hand over the stage to Dr. 𝗟𝗏𝗲. Over to you, ma'am.
Very good evening to all of you. A very good evening to all of you. It's a pleasure to host this session with a lot of learned people out here. The session, I would like to thank first for the Time to Grow Media as well as in association with Telangana government, which has planned the session. So Telangana, I shall start with Telangana state, for example. So this is the first, the state had a lot of learning centers right from long back, like the Vijaypuri or 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗲, or the first university in the language like local language, Urdu. So this is a learning, it was been a learning place, it was been making the teachers to teach. So it is the center, it was a center for making the teachers. So our session today is about reskilling and upskilling for teachers, a strategic response to changing skill demands in education. This is about, I just have divided the session into 3 parts. So first is, we have right here, we have 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 sir, who is educationist as well as psychologist. I have few questions I would like to ask them so that we cover many things related to the session. So sir, for you first, as we are running short of time, not given enough time for you to introduce yourself. You can introduce yourselves. Sir, 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 sir, what is the best to create interest towards reskilling and upskilling among the teachers? So I ask this question because first of all, teachers should grow the interest to learn. So it's not that, for example, managements or the principals, they just give all the resources to them, like a smart board if it is kept in the classroom. If the smart board is used to just the teacher sitting beside and reading the newspaper and making the people to see the video out of it, it's useless. So first of all, interest towards improving their skills. So how do we do that first?
I guess even the mics need some upskilling and reskilling. Well, thank you ma'am for the question. It's an essay question expected to be answered in one word or objective type answer, but I'll try to keep it as a short answer. Rather, I would like to say upskill or fade away, let's call it as evolve or fade away. I would like to narrate a small story, the story of how there was a rise and fall of an excellent mobile phone called Nokia. How many of you remember that? Yeah? We all used. And it is time and, sturdiness tested. People used to put that phone under a truck and say like, this is my phone, it's unbreakable. Well, its advent into global arena was in 1996 with a wonderful QWERTY keypad, and this mobile became very popular over years, and 1998 it has the greatest boom, and in the early 21st century it was the first in the entire world, mobile industry to start a touch phone. It started having its own aura and started thinking of itself as great and said, we are the rulers of the world, nobody can break us. Then entered Samsung and iPhone, which broke the world and has taken it to a next level. Now Nokia is Nokia. Reason is, you have to evolve. Although Nokia claims to have the first ever touch phone introduced in the world, today it stands almost like going down the drain. I use these words, going down the drain. It has been a case study for Harvard University. It has been a case for Stanford University. It has been a case study for even Delhi University and IIMs. The rise and fall of Nokia. Let me tell you, right from morning we have been receiving alarming statements saying either you evolve or the machines are going to take over. This is not a statement, this is a caution to all of us. True. If we do not evolve, we have to fade away. There is no other alternative. When it comes to the perspective of a teacher, how do you know whether you have to reskill or upskill? Try to understand, this is not learning the skill again. It is re-skill and upskill. That means you already have, but you have to upgrade. Just like the software that you upgrade on your mobile phones. If you do not upgrade your software on your phones, then the bots will take charge of your phone and you will not be able to use. Same way, teacher will become redundant if teacher does not upgrade herself or reskill herself. How does she do that? Or how does he do that? First, the teacher has to have something called as a personality check, or we call it as a psychometric test. A teacher has to do a psychometric test to understand where she fits, whether she fits to the requirement of the school or the students or not. Else, the teacher has to fade away. I would like to just, sum up everything in this very word called skill. S-K-I-L-L. S. Search for various skills that you need to upgrade depending on your psychometric profile. K. Know what is your deficit and where you need to fill it up or improve yourself. Now I must add, we are very soon entering into a session or a phase of carrot or stick. Either you upgrade or you go out of the school. So know what is your deficit. Third is introspect whether these skills when you attain, will you be able to stay in the competition? Will you be able to resist? Like we've been discussing from morning, skills become redundant over a period of time. Are we ready for it? Are we ready to, run and gain as much skills as possible? Pandemic has given us a wake-up call. We who are reluctant and saying there is a rose is a rose is a rose, nothing can replace a teacher, technology replaced. We had to, take the new normal into our stride. So, first is search for skills which are required. Know what is your deficit. I, that is introspect whether you will be able to stand. L is learn. Learn, absorb. Fifth one is lead. What you learn, try to lead it. Skill, that is search, know, introspect, learn, lead. Otherwise, the S will be lost and it will K-I-L-L, kill your career as a teacher. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So, all the principals and the directors here. So, the answer for creating interest is give the example of Nokia to your teachers. So, we shall just, we had the next, I would like to ask Dr. 𝗙ecie madam, who is the State 𝗙𝗶𝗸𝗲𝗲 Vidyalaya Coordinator, Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. We had a wonderful session by Madam in the morning with a lot of presentations like the pictures and all of the government schools on par with the private schools. That's a great effort which is being done. And also Madam had a book which she has just shown us on the gender issues. So I'd like to ask her which aspects are to be concentrated in maintaining gender issues in learning. Please, Madam.
Thank you. Am I audible? I don't ask you if I am visible. I know that I am not visible. And so hope I am audible. So gender aspects, first of all, I would, with great conviction, I would request you that everybody should recognize and accept that everybody can acquire any kind of skill and everybody can apply any kind of skill, irrespective of their gender. Yes? So that skill can be a vocational skill or a life skill. If we believe in this, if we recognize this fact and if we accept this fact, everything falls in place. This is the first thing. Secondly, as United Nations said, gender, knowing, it is not only for as a fundamental right, but also for a harmonious and peaceful coexistence in this world. We need to apply all the principles of gender equality to our classrooms as well. Thirdly, the teachers, whether it is through curriculum or through hidden curriculum or through co-curricular activities or whatever, each and every teacher should be aware. Not only teacher, the principals and the school managements, each one of us should be aware that gender is constructed, it is preserved and also deconstructed. The gender stereotypic roles or whatever, okay, all the harmful practices and gender stereotypes can be constructed, they are preserved, and also can be deconstructed in the classroom. I think this itself explains us our role and also how cautious we should be and how reflective a teacher should be about the language the teacher uses, the practices, the behavior and everything. So now, how do we make this teacher conscious about the language or conscious about the practices is through gender sensitization, and that book I was showing you in the morning. This is about the teacher's part, and teachers should reskill and upskill with reference to the gender perspective, the gender lens and all. And secondly, the teacher should also make the children critically analyze and critically rationally think about the practices of gender discrimination or differences, basically the gender differences that surround them. So with this, if we start with this, I know that, so we all can pledge for a gender equal world and gender just world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam.
We have part of instances where universities like 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 and many others, they have been learners and they have been teachers. And whether the question of gender comes for the process of learning, learning has no gender. Don't ask that question. It is a misleading question. Learning has no gender.
That's not related to that, sir. Okay, we'll just talk about this in personal later. So this is not related to it. I just asked madam regarding something else, please. So thank you very much, madam. There are definitely gender issues in learning, what we believe. We'll talk about this in personal, sir, please. So we have the next, I would like to, thank you very much for many insights which you have told us. And I would like to, so this is about the aspect of reskilling and upskilling of technology of the teachers and all. So when it comes to the directors and the principals, how is it at the implementation level? So implementing this is a hard task. So I would like to ask the experienced directors here and the principals, so that how they are implementing this at their own stage, and it might be very helpful for others to learn out of it. I would like to start with Dr. 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 Madam, Principal and Director of 𝗙rie Aurobindo International School. Madam, how do you implement reskilling from your angle at your school, please?
Namaste to one and all. I would first like to, although it's not very, very different, but I would like to make a basic difference between reskilling and upskilling. Upskilling is something to do with acquisition of the 21st century competencies, which are definitely going to be able to retain the teacher, because it is absolutely critical that the teacher upgrades her skill and in alignment with the growing technology and the pace at which it is growing. I would just want to make a difference about reskilling. Now, reskilling is something, according to me, because the moderator just asked me about my angle. Since morning I have seen, and during the panel discussions I have observed, that constantly we are speaking about soft skills, about how teachers need to also be able to acquire a sense of soft skills, to be able to be well versed with soft skills, because that is a very important aspect of what the child's education is all about at school. NEP has brought in the whole model of the developmental paradigm as different and a step beyond the prescriptive. So what I would like to say is, firstly, the teacher needs to step out of being just an instructor, a subject expert of a certain subject at a certain level, and really don many hats when we are talking of reskilling. apart from really, trying to be, not trying to really becoming a little bit of an all-rounder, it is very important that a teacher dons the hat of a psychologist, a discerning psychologist. Why am I saying this? I think the center of learning is the child. We need to know the child, we need to understand the child, we need to understand the needs of the child. And unless that happens, a teacher will not be able to design instruction, because a teacher has to become a instructional designer, because the learning task is something that needs to be provided. An environment of learning has to be created. We are all talking about learning. Now, it's a very important skill on the part of a teacher to acquire, to be able to create an environment, to stimulate the child's mind by enabling the child to be curious to learn. Hence, very importantly, the teacher needs to reskill herself to understanding the child's needs, the learning styles, the nature of the child, and how that particular child wants to learn. Somebody in the panel also had spoken about the importance of trying to understand and teach how the child wants to learn. Apart from this, to add to this, I would also like to say that today, we all talk about class teachership, we talk about having a counselor in the school. I think it is absolutely critical that every teacher becomes a mentor and a counselor. Otherwise, to push the buck and trying to say that my area is a subject expertise and I'm going to just be an instructor is not going to be good enough. Because today the discussions in the class has to be led by the teacher. There's so many conflicts going on, there's peer conversation going on. There is so many kind of issues in the children, which needs to be resolved. And the teacher needs to step up in trying to be, making part of that team to be able to lead them to be able to resolve their own kind of conflicts. Because today what we are seeing is a lot of conflicts and confusion. The sense of health of the mental health of children is something which is really not stable, and that is where a teacher really needs to handhold, the child to be able to learn on his own, to be able to resolve. We all have also heard the fact that self-learning is very important. This is at the very heart of today's and the future's learning. It is no more the teacher is going to be an instructor. The teacher has to be a facilitator where the child is being enabled to learn on his or her own. Hence, when we are talking of reskilling, the teacher needs to also step out of the context of a textbook, of a classroom, and see that the learning is happening in terms of life itself. So the connect of life has to come into the classroom. And very importantly, I think all the teachers face this, the connect with the parent. Every teacher is now answerable to the parent. And unless, the teacher comes into the dynamics of trying to be comfortable in being able to understand, the process, the interaction which is going on, the relationship that child has with the parents, that, we tend to label the children saying they're not okay, they're not doing this, obviously the parents are not helping. But it is far more complex than that. So these are some of the reskilling kind of, areas that we need to really look into. And very importantly, and not the least, today NEP is talking about the sense of pride in India. I think every teacher in this country needs to look deeper into our culture and traditions to be able to really bring out our own sense of culture, to be able to learn about it so that we can share that with our children. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. That is the individual attention to be given to the student by the teacher is much required, as you said. I have right now, I would like to ask 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 madam, with a lot of experience, and she's a director academics, 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 International School. Madam, how do you plan and implement upskilling from your side?
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, are you awake? Anyone sleeping? Yeah, good evening everybody. My fellow panelists, thank you for being here with us. To answer your question, I'll just talk a little bit about myself, about reskilling and upskilling. Then charity begins at home, they say, don't they? I started my career in 1979, Mumbai, a lecturer of some sort, went to Kolkata 20 years, worked as a principal, etc., etc. Came to Hyderabad in 2007, being a principal and blah, 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 and I retired in 2019. I'm right now in an educational sphere as a consultant, advisor, and director, and so on and so forth. Reskilling, upskilling. I'm no longer a principal in terms of standing in the morning, doing my assembly, doing this, doing that, doing that, doing that. But I have changed myself to accept that different role. Alright, so this skilling and reskilling, all our big words are being taken in a very small parlance, very simple parlance. Our teachers are not teachers today. Ladies and gentlemen, wake up. They are managers. We are managers. They are managers of emotions of children, including their own self. They are managers of activities which go on in the school, because nowadays no teacher can only teach. They have to do activities. Their multitasking comes as a wait for it. They are managers of soft skills which they have to imbibe in the kids. Today's teacher is not a teacher, it's a manager. Please change the term once and for all. Then they are also the managers of skills which come with dealing with parents. Yeah, dealing with public relations. And they also teach. You know, in my times, there used to be a lovely Tata ad. It used to say, Tata company makes this, make that, and then they would say in the end, we also make steel. So something similar is today's managers. Let's change this acronym right now. Skilling, upskilling. What does a manager typically require? An observation. Patience. Thank you for being here, all of you. Patience, from morning to here. You're good managers, right? Patience, it requires to the core. Now, how do you teach patience? How do you upskill patience and downskill patience and whatever? There are certain things which are completely in yourself. To my understanding, this is my opinion, it may not be yours. A teacher is actually born teacher, real teacher. A teacher is a born teacher, which is now I'm calling a manager. Like an artist, like a singer. We can learn art and singing and whatever, but there's some quality, inner quality, which comes from within, intrinsically there. So that intrinsic quality has to be there in every person, and every person is actually a teacher. You're not a manager, baby, but you're a teacher, right? Because every person, including the mother and the father at home, are teachers in the first category. Then they get into some professional kind of stuff, and then they become, in our profession, managers. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are teachers in some area, please upgrade your skill, upskill yourself and call yourself managers with effect from right now. Number one. Number two, what is skill? I think Dr. Ebenezer said SKILL, acronyms, all language. This is called polite conversations. But the actual skill is what? It's not a teachable thing. It's something which you experience. It's something which you take from the surroundings. Right now, if you're all sitting over here, do you know how much you learned? Did anyone teach you that? Not at all. It's your inner self that derived. Oh, the friend out here is wearing a sari, the color is nice. Next time I go somewhere, I'm going to wear that. You know? Or the gentlemen and ladies are sitting in the front row and I was sitting behind. The chairs were very uncomfortable. Next time I go somewhere, I'll sit in the front row. You are learned. Experiential learning. So skills we are unfortunately teaching skills through textbooks, God knows what methods. No, let's go back to the Stone Age where teaching is an experiential method. It should be just hands-on. So how many of us are ready for that? Yeah, very good, thank you. I never asked a great question, by the way. What I meant is, how many of us are ready for something like that? Teaching, unfortunately, in our country is a very low-paying career. You pay peanuts, you get monkeys. We're not. then I'm also a monkey for that matter. For 42 years I've been a monkey. So the fact remains that something has to be done about the system of education, especially in our country. Because somehow this is getting the last importance. If anything happens, if today there's a lot of heat in April, shut down the schools. Coronavirus came. Coronavirus was about to go off. Yeah, beautiful. Bullseye. So coronavirus came, coronavirus was retrieving, malls opened, liquor parlors opened, but schools never. Why? Because the coronavirus must be sitting on the top of a tree of a school. The moment children come in, they'll jump on them. Right or wrong? That's how we treat education. Parents would not send the child to the school, but would send them to the mall. Movies, functions and festivals, I mean, that was all going on. But no education, no. Teaching is terrible. How can you go there? You might get coronavirus, you see. Teacher is the coronavirus sitting on a tree on top of it, you want to jump on them. This is our view on education. What skilling and upskilling we are talking about? Please get on to the very basic levels. We need a lot of intrinsic education inside all of us, inside the people who are promoting it, that teaching is not coming just from textbooks. Teaching is education. And the difference between education and literacy, what is the difference? Education and literacy, one small component of education. A driver of a truck, of a rickshaw, of anything is better educated sometimes, I feel, than a well-literate person. Have you understood the difference? A literate person is only dealing with academics, physics, chemistry, math, whatever. Educated person is somebody who has not even touched these books, but is worldly wise. So that's education in the true sense. Upskilling that, please do it. Downskill that, use your old terms. But the fact remains, better get into education, which is a bigger, wider umbrella than onto literacy per se. We are running after literacy nowadays. We'll talk here, you will also listen here, you'll go home, tomorrow will be just the same. IIT, JEE, medical, coaching, entrance, kill them, pull them. Parents, you are also parents, aren't you? We're parents. We forget everything, we talk little, but we forget everything, and then we go back to our own work, because that's ultimately what matters. So what ultimately matters? Commercialization. So we are into commercialization of education, trying to talk big, but meaning small. We are a confused lot. So let's get on to solving our confusions. One last small thing I would try to say is that, I hate saying wrong things, but somehow I get carried away. Well, is that the gentleman out there was earlier talking about robotics and AI. And he said, see, lovely products we are selling. All of us clap for that. And you know, the child can look at the book and put it near that robo, and then he asked us a question. Why do you think he put the book there? The gentleman here, sorry, pardon, I'm not teasing you, I'm just talking a fact. So he said, why did he put a book? Then all of us answered something or the other. Ultimately the answer was, the robo will tell this child, which book do you take for school today? My jaws dropped. And then we were talking amongst ourselves. We were saying, now tomorrow this child is going to ask, do I drink this water? Can I eat potato? Can I? This is what is happening to our education. And we are bringing artificial intelligence, talking so big about it. Do it. But do it in a way it helps us, doesn't master us. We're getting mastered now by all these technological glitches. So, sorry? We're becoming. We have already become a slave. So I think it's time that we get out of that. Let's become human again. Let this humaneness come into our education. In my kindergarten, in my schooling in Mumbai, the teacher, it was a convent education, the teacher would hit us also. No problem. One fight on the backside. It's okay. We would go home, just cover ourselves and go. Today you touch a child and watch what's going to happen. Right? So that is education of today. I would not speak any further. upskilling or downskilling. All I would suggest is let us be intrinsically good human beings, and we can teach them that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, madam, for your beautiful insight into various aspects. Sir, we'll just, after the session, we'll just continue with yours. Thank you, sir. Yeah, very interesting. Madam, you have given us a lot of insight into many things. Teachers to be named as managers, to be named and framed as managers. So that is the basic duty what really a teacher does. That's right, madam. And we shall have Mrs. 𝗟𝗶𝗲𝗲, madam, who is principal and academic director, Dominic's Group of Education Institutions. Madam, please answer us. For a future-proof career, how do you favor upskilling or fade away?
Well, thank you for the question and good evening everyone. I think this is the last panel discussion, so we are taking our own time to answer the questions here. Well, lovely insights on this panel and the previous ones also. Well, the answer to this question is quite obvious, right? We are talking about upskilling, so we should be upskilling obviously, otherwise we will all demolish. So talking about all it started from COVID. Let's talk about teachers upskilling themselves from COVID. And then came about all the talks and everything about the ambitious, progressive NEP 2020. And then now we are talking about ChatGPT and AI, right? So let's not get too scared about all these things that are happening around us, is what I tell my teachers at school and everyone around us, is that we are here to stay. Humans are here to stay, and challenges come and go. It's just that how we are overcoming these challenges and taking it in our stride. I feel in a way this is making us highly creative, helping us take more challenges in a very critical fashion. So upskilling is the only option we have to take in order to be successful and in order to be in the market upbeat, right? So all I would want to say about upskilling teachers is a very important point, that we all should first start journaling as teachers, as principals, because that really helps us in reflecting. As sir also mentioned, one of the I's being introspect. I completely agree with that. After a period is over, or after the class is over, or after the day is over, how many of us really do go back and reflect and ask ourselves, what was the best that happened to me today? Or what was not so good? Or what was very bad that happened today? So here, this is what we are talking about, upgrading ourselves. Are we really reading? Are we really upbeat with whatever is going on in terms of technology? You can't really say that I don't like technology and I would not want to take it up. We don't have a choice. We have to take it up, right? So it's all about how you are embracing everything that is coming on your way. So this is the way probably to take over things. There are many things that ChatGPT is doing, n number of things, and it's out there in seconds. But that should not be detrimental, or we should not face it like an adversity coming over on top of us, but should take it like an enabler, like how calculators came in. We've not stopped calculating. So similarly, with ChatGPT coming in, we should not feel that it's going to take over all the jobs that we are doing, but probably it's making us even more creative in a way and making us think better. So with all these kind of technology and AI coming in, we foresee a future where jobs will be polarized. Either there will be jobs which is high-end up there, where there are very few people making lots of money, or there is just down there where there is labor market. So we have a gap there of mediocrity, and that mediocrity gap will no longer be there. So we need to decide for ourselves, where do we lie? Up there or down, right? So this is all that I want to say about upskilling teachers, that we should be constantly aware, self-aware, reflect, and keep asking ourselves that what is it that I need to do? What is it that I need to learn? What is it that I need to train myself? And there is no choice for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. So, apart from whatever we see outside, also the augmented reality, AI, coding and robotics, everything is here to stay. So, but still, chalk and talk method also is the main thing how we teach. Along with this, not exactly, it doesn't throw away the teaching methods, so it goes hand in hand. Thank you very much, madam. And I would like Mrs. 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 madam, Principal, Delhi School of Excellence. We have Mr. 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲𝗄 sir, who is a Principal, 𝗙ecie Credence International School. Sir, I would like to know from, anyway, 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 madam is also absent. So, I'd like to know from you, how does NEP change the outlook of teachers in education? And as well as understanding this wide discussion till now, can you elaborate this in connection with the NEP, please?
Good evening to everybody present over here. I am extremely proud to be a part of this panel and to be a part of this room, which is filled with some extraordinary minds of the city, and gives me immense pleasure to be over here today and share the knowledge with you. This is the charm of this particular field, education. You know, it is not always about teaching, but learning at the same time. You are a lifelong learner as well. No matter the age, you always get to learn something from everybody. It's a very diverse topic that I have been given. I thought that the previous panelist would, tell something about NEP at least. But then, yeah, since she's not over here, let me tell you, this is a very diversified topic, NEP, the National Education Policy, in place almost after 37 years since its inception. I'm telling till today, it is still not come into effect. So, implementation. So, it was in 1986 that the first time this education policy was brought in, and till today we have been following this 10+2 methodology of teaching. But over here, it is to be understood that we missed on a very critical part of the education sector, and that is the pre-primary wing, nursery, junior KG and senior KG, which was completely out of bounds. After the NEP 2020 has stepped in, we have come with this 5+3+3+4 type of education system, wherein nursery to grade 2 would be incorporated within the foundation years. This foundation years would necessarily strengthen the roots, the very roots of the students, post which they will be moved to a preparatory phase of 3 years, grades 3, 4 and 5, post which they will be moving to middle school, which is 6, 7 and 8, and 9, 10, 11 and 12 will be the secondary wing. So a very, very nice move by the government, I would say revolutionary indeed. There are lots of things. NEP is not just about the structure of the education system, but also about, thank you. So NEP is also about the way of delivering education to the children. Nowadays, it is to be understood, thank you so much, understood. Alright, so now it is to be understood that practical approach is the only the sole way in which we can achieve what we really want. And reading books, I myself was an ardent reader of books, but nowadays I don't even like to turn a page. It takes so much of time. Rather than that, I like to spend my time on YouTube to gather all the knowledge. So I think the same applies with students, and I can only imagine how boring the students would feel in the class when we just go to the class and turn the pages and explain them. Some discussion was going on earlier in the panel that teachers have almost become facilitators. I would like to stress on this fact that teachers, if facilitators, they are not teachers at all. Outside, when a teacher is able to express the particular subject outside a book, I believe that is when the actual knowledge comes in. So NEP also stresses on different these people, these intellectuals who are related to the fields of medicine, engineering, agriculture, to join hands and collab with the education sector. And it has also actually told the schools, instructed the schools to employ such people, and so that they can give hands-on experience to the students. And I would like to tell you one thing, that these kind of people would actually bring in the practical aspects of any sector into the students, into the classrooms, and the students would be able to get hands-on experience. Now, one very interesting fact I would like to tell you, and which is very, very stressful as a matter of fact. I would like to tell you a horror story in just 5 words. I am a mechanical engineer. So, yeah, so engineers are everywhere apart from their fields. Now, why is that? 80% of the engineers today, they are unemployable, ladies and gentlemen, unemployable, not unemployed, but unemployable, because they lack the skills, the skill set which is required to function in technical fields. Now, needless to say, I bagged the job. I did it for quite a while, and that was quite far off from my own trade, which was in IBM. I went into software division because I was very good with programming, C programming, you see. So I went over there. Needless to say that I studied all these industrial engineering and thermodynamics, which has got no link with IBM at all. So one very interesting fact as well. I have recruited a lot of people in my school, but lately I got 2 very fascinating interviews. I would like to take a little bit of time. I know we are running out of time. I'll wrap it up. I got this very interesting answer from a teacher. She said, I asked her, why do you want to work in our school? And she was like, my husband goes to work in the morning and returns late in the evening. I found some time out, so I thought I will just spend my spare time and earn a little bit of money. So I thought I'll come to the school and join. And I'm sorry, I need to wrap it up.
We are running out of time. 1 minute.
Ma'am, everybody took a lot of time. I'll just wrap it up in 2 minutes.
Just have a look at it.
I know, I'll wrap it up in 2 minutes, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. I would like to meet you afterwards. Thank you.
Sir, please. Well, there are 2 more speakers, sir.
I know, ma'am. I'll wrap it up, ma'am. I'll wrap it up. Just allow me to wrap it up, please. That is what I'm trying to tell you. NEP has got a lot in store. It has given the tests, the teacher eligibility tests, strengthening it from the roots, and of course the BEds have been made absolutely mandate. We have a lot of things to look into. I prepared for a lot actually, but very, very unfortunate that I get into, I had to wrap it up very soon. But lovely speaking to you. Thank you.
Dr. Sneha, has every panelist,
There is only 2
who haven't spoken yet? Yeah, please.
I would like to request Sonia Nagpal Madam, who is the principal, 𝗙𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗲 Vedika School. Considering your experience, what is the importance given for implementing critical thinking and communication as part of the first 2 C's?
Good evening, everyone. Sorry about this, it's really, really late. But I'll quickly speak what I have to. So first of all, I think our classrooms should be active labs, right? We need not sit back and teach concepts to our children. There are n number of YouTube channels and n number of reference books which children can refer to. So we must be doing activities in the class. So our schools should be active labs where children work, and therein we can have all the C's that we want to see in our children. So when we go out in the society today, we find so many things sometimes? Yes or no? Unethical, all the time is what my colleague says. Unethical practices, right? No character. So we talk about critical thinking, communication, creativity, but I have so many more C's to add, right? Craftsmanship, so that is the skill that we talk about. We talk about character. We talk about coping strategies. We don't teach that to our children. We show them videos where people are successful, We don't show them videos where people were unsuccessful n number of times and then they finally succeeded. So we need to add many more C's to the skills that we have to teach our children. Now, I would like to give you practical examples of what we do at school. So, like it was mentioned, I'm principal of 𝗖𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗲 school. We plan our curriculum very thoughtfully. So today was the last working day for our students and they have gone for their summer break now. Now what we wanted all the C's in them, right? So we very carefully devised our summer holiday homework. So we gave them critical thinking. We gave them data handling, digital handling. We asked them to work on nutritional literacy. We talked to them about kindness. So we merged, we gave cross-disciplinary homeworks and touched upon all these things. So these skills cannot be taught in isolation, right? So maybe in Hindi we told them, "Aapne kya?" Sorry, I'm not getting the word for kindness in Hindi. Please forgive me for that. Daya ke kaun se kaam kare? So maybe just giving a glass of water to your grandfather, click a picture and send that. Maybe today you've held the bag of your neighbor, an old person. Write about kindness. Kindness towards people, kindness towards the environment. We talk to them about saving the environment. Now you save something which you love. There is no love in children for nature. They have never touched and felt soil. How can they save nature? How can they save trees? When they have not even, parents are so careful, they don't want the children to touch anything. So we at school take it up to teach the children and make them wholesome individuals, right? To tell them how to deal with people, how you have to, learn technology as well, but not to forget how to, bloom your personality and ultimately work towards being a citizen where you contribute towards a society. That's what we want, isn't it? That's what pandemic also taught us. To be kind, to look after not only the well-being of myself, but the people around me, the society, the community and the world at large. We know the war between Russia and Ukraine has impacted all of us, isn't it? So it's not only me now, it's we. So we teach all these things to our children, not in seclusion, but we merge and we very carefully design our curriculum, and that's how we teach our children all these things. And for that, of course, the underlying statement is that the teachers need to upskill and reskill themselves. And it is always the children who teach the teachers. I need to be a step better than my children, so I work on myself, isn't it? They are the technological netizens. So I need to upgrade myself every now and then. We talk to our 9th formers, 10th graders. Now I have to be, as a leader, as a teacher, one step ahead of them. Then I can teach them. Otherwise I'm not in the right place. Thank you everyone.
Thank you very much. So that is what is the practical approach which is always required for a student. At last, I would like to ask Mrs. Madhu Mathur, Madam, who is a principal, Nirmala High School. Madam, in implementation, how do you place the other two C's, collaboration and creativity?
Thank you, Sneha, for your question. Hello, panelists, and hi, everybody. I'm Mrs. Mathur of Nirmala High School. I would like to start this way. The 1986 the NEP that was formulated by the erstwhile Prime Minister, the late Rajiv Gandhi, to now, 2020 NEP, which is formulated and the 21st century skills that we all are talking about. My friend Sonia just spoke about the 4 C's, and she wanted to add many more C's. So these, the experiential learning is very important, which we are starting from the middle school level. And I'm now going to talk about collaboration, which is very, very important in today's education scenario. Collaboration is nothing new today. It has always been there. When 2 children in classroom share their homework or classwork, they are collaborating with each other. They are trying to help each other and know what the other has written and how this person should learn from him or vice versa. So that, and then when you have to talk to maybe an art designer, you're collaborating with him. And if parents are trying to work cohesively as a unit to bring up their child and to make him into a well-balanced child in society, they are actually collaborating. So collaboration has always been there, but NEP has actually enforced these things to be formulated and incorporated into the education system. So this has been from times immemorial. Every one of us has been collaborating at all times. But this has just been incorporated right now, and that is what is important. Creativity also is another such thing where children have been creative. We have all been creative all the while. But then now it has been formulated and included. So what I feel is creativity has always been given a side seat, they've never really cared for creativity. They always wanted core subjects like math or science. But then creative people are supposed to be intelligent people. They are right-brain thinkers, and they are actually into a lot of, they produce things. They bring things into existence. So you will have to. Okay. So that is what I wanted to say. These things have been there, but NEP has been, good there. Incorporating this into the system. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam.
Hello, unnara ekkade? Yes, upskilling lo bhaganga I'm using Telugu. Can all of you follow Telugu? Yes, as part of upskilling, all of you agree that critical thinking is the most essential skill. Do you agree? Yes? Yes? I'm not going to make this into a debate or anything. I understand, I'm acutely aware that this is a panel discussion, but still I would like to answer to the question Sir has raised. I don't think it's a question, but it is just a statement. He was saying that Munipatnis were there who were well learned. So why are we talking about the gender difference in education? I request all of you to practice the skill of critical thinking now. I'm just going to pose you 2 or 3 questions to all my teacher colleagues from School Education Department, all the headmaster colleagues from School Education Department here. This is for your homework, okay, because you have been very alert since morning. Question number 1, which is a take-home question. Critically think, why is Sir talking about the women as Munipatnis? Why were women identified as Munipatnis and not Gurus? Gurupatnis and not Gurus. That is point number 1. Question number 1.
Recognized by their own
yes.
identification.
Correct.
So that is the first point.
No, this is not a debate. Please.
Okay,
one more. And second question for you is, reflection is the most important thing. This is what I request you to reflect every day, in everything, in every word, in every sentence. And 2 more questions are there, but I think I will do that after the session to our own group. Okay? Some terms I will give you.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much. Thank you all the panelists out here for giving a lot of insights into the reskilling and upskilling and many other topics regarding the technology and teacher as a manager and coming from the following new technology apart from whatever technology exists. So coordination between the chalk and talk method along with the technology is what we have spoken till now. So required is, apart from this, teachers need to learn the basics of language first. There are most of the teachers who don't know how to write in proper language at times. So first, that is the reason we also started with the project of 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲, wherein they start with teaching them basics of alphabet first. So this is, thank you, it was a very good session, great session with a lot of knowledge which is shared from most of the speakers out here. Thank you very much all.